Hello and welcome to ScrewyLoops. This video looks too intense for me. So I posted this tweet the other day expecting, a reasonable 7 to 8 responses. But I'll leave you kids alone for just 2 seconds and we get nearly 200 comments, bloodshed, tears and unhappy faces. I'm impressed. Anyways, enough of the nonsense, let's crack on. Efteling is not that good. See, I've never actually been to Efteling. It's never been at the top of my list of parks to do. It's just because the attractions there don't physically attract me. I mean, it's got a lot of history, which I really appreciate. It's basically like the Disneyland before Disneyland was Disneyland. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you'd probably like Efteling. Oblivion is and always will be the best B&M dive coaster. The only good elements on dive coasters are the drops, and because of the tunnel, Oblivion's drop is way better than any other dive I've done. It just doesn't mess around. It does its one good element and then ends, and then we've got Ride Ray here saying, he said controversial, not obviously factual. I mean, for the ones I've done She-Crow, which is a large, it's a bit more exposed though, on 200 feet in the air, Busch Garden Stamper. And it's got a bit more going on in the layout, but it's not exactly necessary for that type of ride. So in some respects I do agree that, Oblivion is the best one, because it does just one thing, which is the drop, and does it really well because of the tunnel. So yeah, I can kind of gel with that. That's a good opinion. Did you pass, Daniel? More recently I've found the opinion that Nemesis over Inferno is quite controversial. Now, I don't mean this in any disrespect to Fort Park, B&M, or anyone who, prefers Inferno over Nemesis. I just find it a bit basic. I mean, the layout is, it might as well be off the shelf. It kind of looks like a Batman ride kind of layout going on. Whereas Nemesis is a lot more adventurous with what it does. I mean, they've both got the same inversions. I mean, you've got the 2 corkscrews, the loop, the 0G roll. But Nemesis just kind of crafts them together a bit better and uses the landscape more, and I just find it more unique. So that's why I'd put Nemesis over Inferno. Inferno's basic. If the Smiler was, say, in the USA, every enthusiast in the UK would be busting their balls to ride the 14 looping world record holder. You know what? I think you've got a point there as well. I think we don't appreciate it enough. The fact it's so easily accessible for everyone in the UK, really. I mean, if it was, in Japan or America, I think we'd probably be looking at the Smiler and appreciated it more. It's a bit strange. The big one is extremely underrated by coaster enthusiasts, aye. And Alton Tower's best themed coaster is Wicker Man, the rest aren't that well themed. I mean, I have mixed feelings about the big one. I really respect its history. It's quite a very unique coaster, especially for Europe, being the only arrow hyper in the whole continent. But I can definitely see its flaws. It's very rough. I mean, at the back it can be really rough. The layout after the drop is uneventful, but I really appreciate the big one. I think personally it holds a better place in my heart than Icon, if that makes sense. Even though Icon is a better coaster. Yeah, it's getting a bit weird, but I kind of, I appreciate the big one. I just had to add this one. Rita is the most intense roller coaster in the UK. If you disagree, comment below. But I generally think, that launch, so 0 to 60, it's quite a snappy launch. I mean, it's no joke. And then you just go straight into that corner, and the amount of G's you get off that first bank turn, it always sends me a bit funny, like I'm going to grey out. And I don't know if it's the snappy, the snappy ejector hills with the turns on them, but it just feels like a really intense coaster, and I think a lot of people overlook Rita for that. Orion is a Giga. I'm going to check that, because rather than a controversial opinion, I imagine this would be like a fact, if I'm correct. Orion, Kings Island. Oh, okay, I'll see what you mean here. So basically what it is, the height is 287 foot, but the drop is 300 foot. So technically, if you can class in the drop it is technically a Giga, although it is classed as a hypercoaster on rollercoasterdatabase.com. I'd probably sway more towards the Giga size just because of the kind of the kind of experience it's given. It's more of a Giga coaster experience, I'd imagine. So yeah, probably Giga. 13 is the best coaster in the UK. Get out. Nemesis Subterra was the best dark ride the UK has seen. So 13, I can kind of see why you'd probably like it over other coasters. Me personally, I'm not a massive fan of 13 at all. I kind of find it really sluggish and just a bit boring, to be honest. I mean, the secret element is, fun, and the backwards bit is quite a nice surprise, but other than that, I just think there's a lot of family coasters out there that do that thing a lot better. I mean, just look at Universal with like some of the rides out there. Obviously the Hagrid's coaster, even Expedition Everest as well. I mean, a lot of the Florida rides do similar things, but with Subterra, you know what? I didn't think it was that bad. I think, I think that had a lot of hate as well for some reason. But then again, Derren Brown's Ghost Train as well, same with that. I think that gets a lot of hate. And it's not that bad. So, again, that's subjective. At the moment, probably my favourite dark ride in the UK is got to be like Valhalla, if you class it as a dark ride. Or maybe Hex. Don't know. Nemesis at Alton Towers needs knocking down and replacing with something better. Get out. No comment. I don't think it should go, so yeah. Saw the Ride is one of the best UK coasters, theming and thrills. Again, I respect your opinion. I don't really like Saw the Ride. I think it's got its fair share of problems. I wouldn't say it's the best UK coaster. I wouldn't even rank it amongst the top 5, to be quite honest. But if you're talking about the theming and the thrills itself, then yeah, I can kind of see why. Magnum XL200 is the world's greatest hypercoaster and possibly best roller coaster ever built. I'm going to say something controversial here, and Magnum XL200 is what the big one should have been. Like, that absolutely belts it around the layout. It's got airtime, it's the same make a coaster. I don't know why it's the big one turned out so different, but yeah. Wicker Man has great theming, but it's a boring ride. I mean, of course it's got great theming. It's the best themed roller coaster in the UK, my opinion. And I wouldn't exactly say it's boring, but maybe for a GCI, if you've been on other larger GCIs out there, it probably is boring compared to those. Hex is the worst dark ride in the UK. I love it, but I respect your opinion. It's quite a tedious ride. I'm just going to say that. There's a lot of scenes before you actually go on the ride, but that's the part of the whole experience, and everyone's going to love that. And it can hit your stomach a bit when it starts spinning around in that room. Derren Brown's Ghost Train is boring as f***. Now, I'd probably agree with you on repeat rides, because I think once you've done it once, you've kind of done it a million times, if that's the right saying. I've never had the urge to really get back on it unless it's like the following year. It's like a once a year ride for me, that, so I can see why you say it's boring. Runaway Mine Train has the most intense helix in the UK through that tunnel. I'm not even joking, it's got some speed. I don't got any G's, but it's got some speed. And you can like high five the rapids people as you get past, so good fun. 13 is best at towers. Colossus is one of the best roller coasters in the UK. The roughness just adds to the experience, and the surrounding area really makes the ride. Wait, so you're saying the roughness adds to the experience? Never heard of that one before. But I do like the theming. The theming is really nice. Grand National isn't rough. I don't get how people do this. Like, how do you get on, how do you go on Grand National or Wooden Coaster or Colossus and either enjoy the roughness or just don't find it rough? Grand National is absolutely brutal. Maybe I'm just sitting on the wrong seat. Literally don't get all the hype around stealth. I get it's the fastest coaster in the UK and all that, but the Swarm is the superior 4 coaster. I love Stealth. I'll be honest, it's my favourite coaster at Thorpe Park. Yeah, it's over in a few seconds, but you know, you queue for that buzz, that 0 to 80 in 1.8, 1.9 seconds or whatever it is. And it's just that, it's just a thrill, like a quick thrill, like a quick shot of don't do drugs, kids. The Walking Dead, the ride, is better than X. I didn't have a lot of love for X in the first place, so I kind of agree. It's definitely an improvement, in my opinion anyway. The rave thing didn't really do anything for me. Gerslauers are my favourite coasters. I do think that they've made some cracking coasters. I mean, like, I love the Smiler. There's some really good Eurofighters out there as well. They're really intense. Like Fluk von Novgorod. And of course, as well, in that exact same park, Carnen, the Infinity Coaster, which is massive. Soar is the smoothest ride at Thorpe Park. Nope. That's a good point. This implies Swarm is somewhat rough. And I suppose Nemesis Inferno, which is, it really isn't rough. Again, this kind of links back to the whole one with the Grand National. I just can't get a smooth ride on that for the life for me. Same with Saw the Ride. I always have a pretty rough ride. At Cedar Point, you can see two of the best roller coasters, Steel Vengeance and Maverick, from the top of the best roller coaster at the park, Top Thrill Dragster. So that's implying that Top Thrill Dragster is better than Steel Vengeance and Maverick. Which again, fair opinion. I've never been to Cedar Point. I'd probably put Steel Vengeance and Maverick higher up on my bucket list. But Top Thrill Dragster looks good. I mean, I've done Formula Rossa already, so I know what the lawn should probably feel like I'd come to expect. But that top hat should be good. 13's indoor drop is the strongest airtime at Alton. Other than Octonauts, I'd probably say both Rita and the Smiler probably have better airtime in my opinion. And to be fair, the first drop on 13 and the first hell, if you're sitting at the back seat, you can kind of get some good airtime on that. Probably more so than that indoor drop. Oh, this is controversial. B&M inverts are boring, not worth the praise they get. And you know what? I kind of agree. I know I'll keep banging on about Nemesis, but what makes Nemesis is its environment more than anything, and the theme and the story. This is why I don't think Nemesis Inferno is particularly amazing, because I just think the layout is so basic and the theme is themed around a volcano. Yeah, it looks nice, but it's just not that exciting. Probably the best invert I've been on is actually Black Mamba, and that's again same with Nemesis. It's just because of the theme, and it's not because of, you know, the actual ride experience. The theming just makes those coasters. And I'll be honest, when I went on Monte, as much as I thought, you know what, it's a fun coaster, it's not very dynamic in terms of like anything other than pure G-force. You know, that thing is just stacked full of G-force, no airtime or anything else. And I think that's the problem with invert. So I kind of get what Beck's on about here. Swarm is trash. The Smiler is the best coaster in the UK. You know, it took me a while to actually appreciate the Swarm. I think the first time I went on it, I was a bit underwhelmed because it's so short and it was I just found it a little boring. But the more I go on it, the more I kind of enjoy it. Like, I really love that bank turn across the lake, and you know, especially if you're close to the water where you can almost touch it. You get so many G's. Sometimes I get close to blacking out on that as well. It's pretty intense. And the Smiley, you know, that is probably, you know, it goes far to say is in my top 5 definitely for the UK. I don't know where it would be, but it is one of the best coasters in the UK. The Duplo Dino coaster is better than Infusion. You know what, I'd argue if that's even controversial at all. I'll probably take it over Infusion. The Dragon at Legoland has some mad airtime. Alton has better theming, but Thorpe has better coasters. I'd probably echo that, but instead say Alton has better theming and better coasters, but Thorpe Park has the better lineup overall. Like just ride lineup, flat rides, water rides, dark rides arguably. I mean, we only got like Ghost Train and things like that. I genuinely prefer Rita to Nemesis. You know what? I can't knock you for that, because Rita gets so much hate and it really doesn't deserve it. I'm kind of like edging towards that kind of like, I really enjoy Rita stage at the moment. Rita kicks ass. I just really appreciate Rita, but I'll be honest, Nemesis is the better one for me. But you know, I just like the fact that you're appreciating Rita. I love Rita. Icon has 2 inversions, not 1, but 2. That is all. Again, this is probably like a matter of fact rather than opinion. It's kind of like an illusion, because that junior Immelman, when you go up and flip over, it does kind of feel like you're inverting, but theoretically you're not. I suppose it's kind of like in a similar sense to those non-inverting loops where you kind of flip over, do your twist, but it kind of gives you the illusion that you're going upside down, but you just don't realise. I don't know. I can't really say. Has it got one on? I think it's just one inversion on Rollercoaster database. I don't know. Just go by that. The finale of Disneyland Paris's Big Thunder Mountain has no business being on a family coaster. That is no joke. I'm telling you that now. It is insane. The Woodies at Blackpool, Big Dipper Grand National Nick Streak, are 100 times better on the back row. On the front, there is no airtime at all, and I mean 0.0 seconds. I would even say that they are rougher on the front row. I personally find them a lot rougher on the back row, but you are right in the sense that you probably do get more airtime. But I've always found it's actually any of the seats that are kind of sitting above the wheels on the cars, they are the really rough seats. So like I'd probably go for, instead of the back row, maybe the one from the back row. That's probably the best seat to have. Intimidator 305 is one of the most forceless coasters I've ever ridden. What? Like, Intimidator 305, if you don't know, it's renowned for being one of the most intense roller coasters in the world, because you drop 305 foot into pretty much a bank turn across the floor, and it was that intense they had to readjust the entire turn and the first airtime hill and add trims to that drop to stop people's, you know, heads exploding. So I'm interested in that one. Obviously I haven't been on it, so I don't know. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me in the description below, because we need a little controversial opinions in the comments below. So if you've got any more, drop them down there. And obviously if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, smash subscribe, flick the bell, and yeah, latest video here, random video here. Hit this button right on my nose for the ride of your lives. You've been watching ScrewyLoops for a bit.